What if the years you have gathered were never meant to be a heavy cloak, but a bridge to the most profound peace you have ever known? What if the worries that keep you awake at night, the health of your children, the ticking of the clock, the fading of old memories, were not signs of an ending, but the final thin layers of a dream that is ready to dissolve? You have spent 6, 7, or perhaps 8 decades navigating the currents of this world. You have built homes, raised families, weathered losses, and carried the silent weight of 1,000 responsibilities. But what if none of that effort was ever meant to lead to a perfect tomorrow? What if the silence you have been searching for has been waiting patiently beneath your breath all along, unbothered by the noise of the decades? Beneath our busy days, beneath our plans for a future we still try to control, there is a stillness that has never left us. It is an ancient stillness that was here before you learned to worry and will be here long after the concerns of this day have passed. It is our most natural and familiar home, the one we forget and remember again, across a whole lifetime. Tonight, we are coming home to that silence. As we sit here together, I want you to feel the weight of your own hands. Notice how they have worked, how they have held, how they have served, and now, notice that they can simply rest. There is a strange and beautiful law of life that no one teaches us in our younger years. The moment you stop trying so hard to hold everything together, life finally has the space to hold you. Think for a moment about how full a long life can be. The endless list of things to do, the replaying of conversations from years ago, the quiet feeling, even as you lie down at night, that you have not quite caught up. We carry all of this wherever we go, and even when the body finally rests, the mind keeps walking. But tonight, we are going to let the mind sit down. We are going to explore the magic of returning home, not a long journey outward to a mountain or a temple, but a quiet turning inward. The Buddha spoke of freedom from suffering, beginning with something as ordinary as a single mindful breath. And so it is with the time we are spending together now. We are not going anywhere new. We are only returning to what has always been here beneath the noise of our days. In the moments ahead, we will journey through 5 quiet lessons offered gently, one after the other. We will look at why letting go is the ultimate strength, how to find the middle way where the music of your life finally sounds clear, and how the very challenges you face today are actually your greatest teachers in disguise. This journey is not about effort. It does not ask you to learn a new language or master complex philosophies. It only asks that you stop for a little while and listen. If you find these teachings bring a sense of calm to your heart, I invite you to join our community by subscribing to these quiet whispers of wisdom. It is a gentle way to remind your spirit every day that peace is possible. As you listen, let your shoulders drop, let your jaw soften, let your breath find its own unhurried rhythm. Stay with me until the very end, because I have prepared a powerful bonus lesson, a specific energetic ritual passed down through the forest monasteries that will help you seal this peace into your very bones before you sleep. This is a journey of coming home, and the door is already open. Let's begin. Do you ever look back at your life and feel a heavy weight in your chest, thinking about the mistakes you made or the opportunities you missed? Perhaps you feel that your spirit has been soiled by the hardships you've endured over these 70 or 80 years. Many of us carry the past like a bag of stones, believing that our muddy experiences make us less worthy of peace. The Buddha once said, "There is no lotus without the mud." He didn't say the mud is something to be avoided. He taught us that the mud is the very thing that feeds the flower. Think for a moment about the lotus in the mud. The lotus does not grow in clear, sterile water. It needs the thick, dark, and messy silt of the pond to find the nutrients to bloom. It doesn't fight the mud. It doesn't judge the mud. It uses the mud to rise above the surface. I remember a time in my own life when I felt completely overwhelmed by regret. I was staying at a small temple, and I told an old monk that I felt my past mistakes were too heavy to overcome. He pointed to a lotus pond and said, "The flower doesn't look back at the mud with anger. It thanks the mud for the strength to reach the sun." That moment changed everything for me. I realized my struggles weren't obstacles, they were my soil. Now, I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a gentle breath in. Imagine your life's difficulties, the heartbreaks, the losses, the long nights of worry, as dark, rich soil around your feet. Feel it not as something dirty, but as something nourishing. Imagine a vibrant lotus bud growing from your heart, stretching upward toward the light. You are not your past. You are the beauty that grew because of it. Ask yourself gently, what if my hardest moments were actually preparing me for the peace I feel right now? Your history is not a prison. It is the garden where your wisdom was born. If you feel this truth in your heart, just type, "I am blooming now." Subscribe for more quiet teachings of the heart. As the years pass, do you find yourself frustrated by your changing body? Does it feel like a betrayal when your knees ache or your energy fades? We often spend our later years fighting against the natural process of aging, trying to remain as rigid and unyielding as an old oak tree, only to find that rigidity causes more pain. The Buddha taught us that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. If we think of our aging as a breakdown, we suffer. If we see it as a softening, we find grace. Consider the bamboo tree during a great storm. When the heavy winds howl, the mighty oak stands stiff and proud, and because it cannot bend, it often cracks and falls. But the bamboo is hollow and flexible. It bows low to the ground, moving with the wind, not against it. Because it knows how to bend, it never breaks. I once clung to the identity of being strong and invincible. When I faced a period of physical weakness, I felt like a failure. I sat in a garden watching the bamboo sway, and I realized my suffering wasn't coming from my weakness, but from my resistance to being flexible. I was trying to be the oak when life was asking me to be the bamboo. Close your eyes. Notice the areas in your body where you are holding tension. Is it your jaw, your shoulders, your hips? Imagine your breath as a warm, golden wind. As you breathe out, imagine your body becoming like the bamboo, hollow, light, and flexible. You don't need to be rigid to be strong. There is a profound power in simply allowing things to be as they are. Ask yourself gently, where am I still trying to stand too tall? And where can I finally allow myself to bend? True strength is found in your ability to flow with the changes of life, not in your power to stop them. If you are ready to let go of the struggle, just type, "I bend, but I do not break." Do you find yourself constantly worrying about your children, your grandchildren, or those you love? Do you feel that if you just worried enough or controlled enough, you could keep them safe from the world's pain? We often mistake clinging for loving, not realizing that the tighter we hold on, the more we suffocate the very peace we wish for them. The Buddha reminded us, you only lose what you cling to. When we try to own the lives of others, we lose our own serenity, and we create a cage for those we love. Imagine a beautiful butterfly landing on your palm. If you truly love the butterfly and want to experience its beauty, what do? If you close your hand to keep it, you crush its wings. Its beauty is gone. But if you keep your palm open, the butterfly can rest, it can breathe, and it can stay for as long as it feels safe. The beauty is in the freedom, not the possession. I remember a woman I met who spent every waking hour anxious about her son's choices. She was exhausted and bitter. I asked her to imagine her son as that butterfly. She realized that by closing her hand through constant criticism and worry, she was pushing him away. When she finally learned to keep her palm open, to love him without needing to control him, their relationship transformed. She found her peace, and he found his way. Close your eyes. Imagine the person you worry about the most. See them standing before you. Now, look at your hands in your mind's eye. Are they clenched into fists of worry? Slowly, very slowly, open your fingers. See your palms facing upward. Imagine you are offering them the gift of your trust. Feel the lightness that comes when you stop being the manager of the universe. Ask yourself gently, is my worry helping them, or is it only hurting me? Love is at its most powerful when it is given with an open hand. Subscribe for more quiet teachings of the heart. If you are ready to release the weight of others' lives, just type, "My love is a gift, not a cage." Are you afraid of the winter of life? Do you look at the passing days with a sense of loss, feeling that every year is something being taken away from you? The mind often views the endings in life as a tragedy, forgetting that in the great heart of the universe, every ending is merely a preparation for a new beginning. A famous monk once said, "The root of suffering is attachment to things that change." We suffer because we want the leaves to stay green forever, even when the season has turned. Observe the autumn tree. As the air turns cold, the tree doesn't cry out in fear as its leaves turn brown and fall. It doesn't try to glue the leaves back onto its branches. It lets them go, one by one, with a quiet grace. Why? Because the tree trusts the cycle. It knows that by shedding what is old and finished, it is saving its energy for the deep rest of winter and the eventual rebirth of spring. It trusts the dying because it knows life is much bigger than just the leaves. I remember sitting in a mountain monastery during a particularly cold autumn. I watched the leaves carpet the ground and felt a sudden, sharp fear of my own mortality. But as I watched the monks sweeping the leaves with such calm, I realized that the tree wasn't losing anything. It was simply returning its energy to the source. I felt a deep yes rise up in my soul, a permission to let go of my own leaves. Close your eyes. Visualize yourself as a magnificent, ancient tree. Feel your roots going deep into the warm, stable earth. Now, think of your worries, your old identities, and your fears of the future as dry, autumn leaves. With every exhale, imagine them drifting away from your branches. Watch them fall softly to the ground. You are still the tree. You are still whole. You are just becoming lighter. Ask yourself gently, what am I still trying to hold on to that the season has already asked me to release? Peace comes when we stop fighting the seasons of our lives and begin to dance with them. If you trust your journey, just type, "I trust the cycle." Do you feel like you are constantly pushing against life? Does it feel like you are rowing a boat upstream, exhausted by the effort of trying to make things happen, fix people, or find answers? We have been taught that doing is the only way to be valuable, but the oldest wisdom tells us that being is where the true miracle happens. The Buddha's teaching on the middle way is like the river flowing. A river does not wake up in the morning and plan how to get to the ocean. It doesn't argue with the rocks in its path. When it hits a massive boulder, it doesn't try to push the boulder out of the way. It simply finds a way around it. It follows the path of least resistance, trusting the gravity of the earth to lead it home. It is powerful because it is persistent, not because it is forceful. I once spent years trying to force my spiritual progress, sitting in meditation for hours with a tense heart. A teacher told me, "You are trying to build a river with your hands. Just be the water." I stopped trying to achieve peace and started allowing it. I realized that life has its own intelligence, and when I stopped interfering, things began to fall into place on their own. Close your eyes. Imagine you are floating on a gentle, wide river. You don't need to swim. You don't need to steer. The water is warm and supportive. Feel the current carrying you. Every time a thought of "I must" or "I should" comes up, Imagine it as a bubble that pops on the surface. You are safe. You are being moved by a wisdom much greater than your own. Ask yourself gently, what would my life look like today if I stopped fighting the current and just let the river carry me? You don't have to figure everything out. You only have to stay in the flow. If you feel ready to let life lead you, just type, "My life flows naturally." Stay with me just a moment longer, for we have reached the most important part of our journey, the hidden lesson that ties all these truths together. We began this journey with a promise, a powerful bonus lesson that bridges the gap between the mind's peace and the body's healing. For many of you, the greatest fear isn't just about the mind. It is about the physical body, the pain that lingers, the energy that fades, and the reliance on jars of medicine. The ancient masters of the forest monasteries in Thailand and Tibet carried a secret that modern science is only now beginning to understand. They taught that the human body is not a machine that breaks down. It is a sacred temple that listens. Every cell in your body is like a small, conscious being, and for decades, those cells have been listening to your worries, your stress, and your commands to hurry up or be better. The bonus lesson is this: the most powerful medicine in the world is not found in a bottle, but in your own vibration. There is a simple 5-minute ritual used by wandering monks to reset the body's natural healing state. They believe that illness is often just an imbalance of tension, a knot in the energy flow. To untie this knot, you do not need force. You need an embodied prayer. Tonight, before you drift into sleep, I want you to perform this inner pharmacy ritual. It has 3 small steps. First, place your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your stomach. This creates a closed circuit of your own energy. Second, breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. This tells your nervous system, the war is over, we are safe. Third, and most importantly, visualize a soft, golden rain falling from the crown of your head, washing through every organ, every bone, and every cell. As this light passes through, say to your body, not with your voice, but with your heart, "Thank you. I am listening now. You are free to heal." In these 5 minutes, you stop being a patient and start being a temple. You stop surviving and start existing. When you return to yourself in this way, your body stops fighting and starts listening. That is when the true medicine, the medicine of silence, begins its work. As we close our eyes together one last time, let these truths settle into the quiet spaces of your soul. You are not a collection of aging parts. You are a magnificent temple of light that has weathered 1,000 storms. You are not broken by the years. You are being refined by them, like gold in the fire. Every wrinkle on your face is a map of a journey well traveled, and every gray hair is a strand of wisdom reaching for the sun. You are not the clouds that pass, the worries, the pains, the regrets. You are the vast blue sky that remains untouched by the weather. Peace is not a destination you reach. It is the home you never truly left. Here at Buddha Wisdom Library, we remember that nothing is a coincidence, not even the fact that you are listening to these words at this exact moment. This is your doorway back to yourself. May your mind be at ease, may your body be soft, and may your heart be held in the great silence of the universe. Sleep well, dear friend. Namaste.